Hey friends, hey ladies and gents, welcome to the FoxieMoose show. Really appreciate you guys coming out again. Hope you really liked the video from last week. So this week we're going to be talking about the thought process behind this pretty little image you see on screen, and we're going to go over some other things like silhouette and really just explaining um, the reasons why I made the changes that I did, and maybe we can get into some paint over. So let's put this up on screen. All right, that came up. All right, so while that's going, I'll just try to explain as best as I can about my mindset behind this. So at the very beginning, I started with a really rough thumbnail that I blew up, and I find that it's really easy to solve the smaller problems, or solve the bigger problems while working at a smaller size overall, and it just really helps out it just helps answer a lot of questions without saying, okay, I need to get in there and I need to solve this problem like right now. Oh, I need to know what this this bandana looks like. So at that early stage, it's just like, okay, let me just rough in the shape. So here we're just doing some line art. I'm trying a really new approach with the way that I work. I really like to see, I like looking at really clean line art. So I'm trying to implement that into my work a bit more. And then the rest of it is going to be solved up with paint overs, which we can hopefully get to, like I said, at the rest of the video. So this one is basically done. Let's finish up that last bit. All right, now we can go to, actually, before we do that, I would like to show you guys what I was talking about before. Let's see. I'd like to show you guys what I was talking about before with the whole thumbnail thing. I really should have layered these or named these. Okay. So where is it? I saw it. So we basically had a smaller version of this, which is actually here. And you guys, I'll fill you guys in on a little surprise at the end of the video. But you see, we started drawing really small here. These are basically two of the same thing, except we made slight adjustments just to experiment and play around with some stuff. You can see older versions are here, and that's the reference. The reference that I use is like over here, because I understand that a lot of people are a little iffy when it comes to using references, but there's nothing wrong with using them. There's nothing wrong with using references at all. So you can see here, we were really trying to experiment and try to find out some cool poses. I really liked this this one Ash picture at the top up here. I really liked the flow that was in it. Like if we move, let's pick a better brush. If we move this Ash one out of the way, you can actually see this like really nice this nice flow line going through this body, and then that cool, there's just a lot of really nice flow lines, and flow is extremely important when it comes to silhouette. So after the second speed paint, I'll see if I can I'll try to explain it a bit more so you guys can understand it a bit better. So yeah, for now, let's go back to the speed paints. I can find where I put it. Is that the right one? Okay, I think that's the right one. Okay. And you can see like the stream overlays and stuff. I've started streaming my character design process for those who would like to watch. I figured it'd be pretty awesome, just to have some people to talk to. And just so you can really, interact with me and ask questions and just see that nothing really starts out perfectly. And as you just saw, I actually brought in a royalty-free image of sunflowers, like a sunflower field. And I tried to play around with it, to like edit it and stuff. And this is what I ended up resulting in. Now, in this case, this is I'm not afraid of using resources that are already available to me in my artwork. Now, I could see if the whole image was about the sunflower field, but it's not. So I really was like, instead of me taking the time, because time was very limited, instead of taking the time to really try to draw up a whole new background, which 9 times out of 10, or a majority of the time, it will take as long as the character. And backgrounds aren't my strong suit. So I went to Google. I searched on Google how to, I searched on Google. You can actually sort it by images that are royalty-free or not royalty-free. And I found that sunflower image. So I wasn't afraid to, just drag that in, paint over it to like really get that feeling that I was looking for. And I should have paused it. I know for next time though. But yeah, I just brought in the image, made some adjustments to it, and it looks awesome. So, and some people, I already know there's going to be people that don't agree with that, but art is, it doesn't matter how you make art as long as you make it your own, So that's why I'm not afraid of using references. I'm not afraid of bringing in images. A lot of people do it in the industry, so it's definitely not something that, professionals look down on. And they actually use it quite a bit to get things done quicker. Okay, so let's get that out of the way and bring up the image. Was it this? I think it was this. And then we add in some layers. And then the background was here. So let's, I actually had a earlier version of this speed paint video of it, but it didn't, I don't know what happened to it. Basically, I can't find it. So let me just make sure this thing is actually recording. I hope it is. Okay, it is. So yeah, I guess I'll show you guys in the layers how this all actually started. If you guys are into this stuff, let me know. I really want to upload more stuff like this. I would be happy to share my thought process with you guys for free on YouTube. So here, we brought in a couple of images just to get some motif ideas. Basically, we wanted to pull out patterns from the images instead of making whole new shapes, just use shapes that were already made in nature. And then once we found the shapes that we liked, let's see. So these are actually some of the let me zoom in here. These are actually some of the shapes that I pulled out of the sunflower. I really literally just went in and found some interesting designs. Let me see if I can actually do a live demo of that. So basically, let's get a different color. So basically, I was going in and I was like, okay, so there's a cool shape here that I really like. And then I start thinking about shapes in terms of large, medium, small, or, just different variations just to make sure I have rest areas and then I have detail areas. But for now, I'm not too focused on it. I'm pulling out the shapes as I see them. So, I see a shape like here, and then I see a shape like here as well. And you just go in and then you start just playing around with the shapes that are there. And there's no extra brain power really required because it's all just there for you. It's what nature has already made. So you're just leveraging what nature has already made. So you would have like, you have a small shape here, you have a small shape there, you have a medium shape here, or you have a large shape there, and then you have a medium shape here, right? And you say, oh, okay, so now that brings in, that's like, you have to think about it in terms of large, medium, small. And this is actually really important. This is how I generally think about things. It's how I learned to think about things. But basically, you have the large shape, you have the medium shape, and then you have the small shape. And I can get into that in a different video. For now, I just really wanted to focus on the silhouette, which we have not started talking about yet. All right, so let's get into that actually. I just wanted to show you guys a bit of the process about how I came about making a design like this. And I'll leave that there. So now, you know, this is where I bring in my references. And I'm like, I wasn't really liking the way that the character was going before. Something didn't feel right. So this is actually where the character was. Before I brought these pictures in, I had this image, which some of you might have seen. Some of you might have seen this image on, let's actually move this down. Some of you might have seen this image on Twitter. And then it was like shaded in and stuff. But I didn't like, the silhouette was all wrong. If you look at this, if you were to cover this entire character in black, let's see if we can do that really quickly. If you were to cover this entire character in like black, oh man, that's gonna be bad. But essentially, you can't tell what's happening because the silhouette is so bad. Everything's overlapping. You can't really see that. It doesn't read correctly. I wanted this to read as an archer who was a flower girl. You know, she was a sunflower or had some kind of sunflower elements to her. But what we got instead was a really bad read. It didn't read how it was supposed to. So we went in and changed it. So if you look at this, it's like, yeah, you can't really tell what it is. So what we ended up doing was we scrapped it and we brought in some references of better poses, which are really cool poses. And then we studied them. That's where the thumbnails came in. So we got thumbnails like this, where we're like, okay, I'm assuming on these. Like, okay, you know, these are actually relatively small. This is really small. At this size, like I work about like this size from here, and I'll go like that, and then I'll just do some stuff. Working really loosely, just really trying to get the image out. So we start playing with some, and we're like, these are okay. We do some more. Whoops. We do some more, and we're like, these are getting a bit better, but yeah, as you can see, I really like this, like, I really like the one at the bottom. This one, I really like that one. So I started playing around with it. And then that's when I was like, still not really feeling it. So I brought it, I got another reference from Google, brought it in, and I studied it. And I found like the flow lines. Let's turn some of this off. I found the flow lines in the piece, and I was like, oh, so basically, So basically, you know, if you want a cool looking, like action-y archer pose, they all tend to be like this. It's like a T. You have that going on. So that's what I started doing. That's exactly what I started doing. So as you can see, we come back to these and then study this one as well. Study this one. And I tried to implement it. I was like, okay, you know, let's actually try to bring in this like T shape. So that's what we have here. We have this going on, and we have that going on. Same here. We tried to tilt it a bit more. We have that going on, make it more like a bit dynamic. And this was actually when I did it, I wanted it to be more. Sorry if you can hear the cars outside. I wanted this to be more 2D, but it ended up being 3D at the end, as you can see. So I just went with the flow. Instead of like, you know, stressing about it, I just let the piece tell the story itself. Happy accidents is what people call them, I believe. All right, so now we blow up the bigger thumbnail, or the smaller thumbnail. We blew up this version. I believe it was the top one. Yeah, we made this one bigger. And all we did was just transform it. We grabbed the lasso tool, or we just selected it all and then just scaled it up to fit the composition. And all of my compositions are made to fit Instagram. So this one was, I think, 2160 by 2160. Just I like to work in double size just to get in there and get the small details. So we were happy with the silhouette here. So now you can actually see what's going on. If you were to highlight this, and you don't even really need to highlight it, but if we were just going to do it for the sake of doing it, actually I could probably just make this all black. Let's actually do this. Yeah, does it work? Okay, whatever. So as you can see, it's kind of like, you can tell what's happening already, even with the silhouette being the way it is. So if we just fill this, computer don't die. Computer don't die, please. Why isn't it filling? Okay. So we basically we were really focusing on the silhouette. So you could really read what's going on. Because if you can't read what's going on in your image, then how is anyone supposed to know how to feel? And how is anyone supposed to know what they're looking at? And that's how people like your image. They like what they're looking at, so. You have these nice flow lines. This was kind of empty. Or whatever, something like that. And here, you're actually able to read it. Now you can say, oh, okay, this character is doing something. It's some kind of, and even this silhouette is okay because you can't really see the face anymore, but I think we changed it a bit the more we got on. But you can see that you can really tell kind of the story that's going on. You kind of have this humanoid figure here and some kind of like bow or something. And even again, the silhouette wasn't the best here, but it captured the idea that I was looking for. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, so it captured the idea that we were looking for. And then we just basically, we started to draw over it. We started to sketch over it. We sketched over that. We flipped this just to like really see what's going on. And then we filled it in, and then we actually made some changes. I don't know if you can see it, but from here to here, actually let's do this. You can see that the bow, let's go back to this red. Where are we? You can see that the bow here is actually, like this whole section is a bit bigger. So if we turn this on and off, you can see that we get some changes, like the arrowhead gets a bit more dynamic. It comes out a bit more towards the camera. And part of me was like, oh, and the silhouette gets broken here just to bring out that bow shape a bit more. But a part of me was like kind of hesitant to fix it, you know? And I was like, but I already did this, and I kind of wanted to get this done for you guys to get this out. But I went ahead and fixed it. And I basically from doing that, and just from all of the things that I've learned over the years, well, the year of drawing, as long as I've been drawing, I've found the difference between a good artist and a bad artist, or a professional artist and a mediocre artist. The professional artist will clean up everything. So that's what I'm going to try to go in here and do later today, actually, or in a little bit. I'm going to clean up the image just to make it a bit more presentable. But professional artists understand the problems that are in their picture and then don't hesitate to fix them. Amateurs just leave the problem. They'll probably either won't see the problem, or they'll see the problem and say, I'll fix it in the next piece. So that's the biggest difference between an amateur and a professional, and the quality of your line work. If you have fuzzy edges all around, nobody's gonna want that. That's all nasty. What is this back here? So if you get anything out of this video, definitely, I don't know what that is. Definitely trying to find the background. Oh man, so many layers. Yeah, definitely fix up the presentation of your work and the quality of your work. If you see a problem, fix it with a paint over. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. Like here, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do was, again, clean up the lines and fix her face, because there was something in the sketch of the face that I really liked, but we ended up losing it somehow. Let's see if we can actually get to that and pull it up, and then we can start working on it. Sorry if this video runs a little long. I just really wanted to get that information out to you guys. Where is it? It was here. You see this face here? I really like this face here. So let's try to capture it. Let's try to capture it. Let's actually a bigger lasso. All right. And let's bring this up. Let's put that like there. That's gonna mess up. All right. So let's get rid of all that stuff. There's so many layers. And the background. All right. And hopefully these videos will get more fluid the more I make them. I understand they might be like a little more like rough around the edges right now. So let's put in his face. Let's make it darker. Because I really want to capture this. It looks really cool, and I don't want to lose it. All right. So we're gonna get in there and go with the paint over. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm gonna do this live. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I just want to touch up a few things.